Hello everybody, this is Vishal from Word from the Street, and today we're going to look at the few stocks that we alerted this past week on a newsletter, and something that we feel is going to break out soon as well. So let's look at CBOE. We alerted this on Sunday in a newsletter for people to buy it on Monday or this week, and it was around this 115 to 116 area, and we said it that right here was a U-shape forming, and we felt it's going to do again a U-shape right here as it held this support right here of 115. Let's mark it right here, and it's a nice reversal candle right here, and this was on Thursday, this was Friday, and then on Monday morning we see a nice green candle, and then we see a continuation of that on today. So we recommended to buy some 115 calls for January and 120 calls for March, and as you can see, those 115s are looking good today, and so are 120s. So we will continue to hold those. Our long-term PT on this is around 130, 140 by March, so we will continue to hold these long-term. Okay, now we will look at Apple. Apple was also one of the stocks that I actually mentioned in the previous video, and why I am holding long-term calls and short-term calls on Apple. I showed in the video that I did on Sunday that Apple held this support of 170 on Friday, right here, this candle, this large red candle, this one. And it held that support, and on Monday also it dipped a little bit underneath, but it closed right at that support on Monday as well, around 170, and my stop loss was under 170, around 169 was my stop loss. But on Tuesday morning, which is today, we saw this nice green candle, and those calls look good. I recommended to keep an eye on this, as I was holding some 180 calls for January and 172.50 calls for December, and I sold those this morning for some good gains. And yeah, so if you see a stock that's holding the support right here, and Apple had a gap here, so it filled this gap and it held the support, and then it had a nice green candle today. So Apple has been a Wall Street darling stock. It's not gonna be crashing, or especially this week when you have Black Friday sales coming up. Everyone's buying Apple products for Christmas with the iPhone X release. So, keeping all the news in mind, keeping all the technical analysis in mind, there was no panic until it broke this 168.31 level. And it held it on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, and then we see a nice green candle. So my next target on Apple would be around 175. We should be able to see this by Friday, if not, definitely by next Monday. But I think we hold this 170 level unless we get some news. Let's look at ON Semiconductor Corporation. This was alerted in our newsletter this past week, and as you can see right here, it had a support right here, but then at the 161 level, you can see how it is consolidating. At this one, it tested it here every single day last week. It tested, had a nice reversal hammer, and it tested again, and then on Monday morning it broke out. And I suggested to buy some $22 calls for March, as we are holding those, as our long-term PD is around $24. We see this continuing, as we see a nice breakout today and made a new all-time highs. So I see this continuing into the week, maybe next week, and we should be able to get our PT of $24 by in a week or two, and those calls should look really good. But as you can see right here, there were a lot of and every time if you look at this fib lines, it bounced off at this line, right? This candle bounced off here, this bounced off here. So you can see how this 127 was holding strong support, and then you can see this 161.80, which is a 2126 region, holding such a strong support right here. Yes, it dipped down here, it tested that support, but then it bounced right back up the next day. So you gotta trust your support and resistance line. If you see a stock coming up to a resistance, you gotta lock in profits if you are green, and try to exit your trades green if you see the stock approaching the on any strong resistance or support. And this is our play of the week, and I am strongly recommending this play for a long term. Caterpillar, and this has been up 50% year to date and is a very strong looking chart. Let's look at the fib levels here, and this is the all-time highs at 140.44, which was the ER, and let's start from there. Let's remove this thing. So let's look at the fib lines right here. So we're going to take this 144.44 as our top as 100%, and we're going to drag it down to this level, which is our which is our support level, which is the 122.93, because you can see it's right here, and then it's around right there. It bounced a couple times, so this is a strong support. So let's look at this. At 140 was 100%. It had a pullback, and it tested the 61.8, 133.75 on last week, and then as you can see now, it's trying to again make that U shape. So you can see this nice cup right here, and I recommend that we will be hitting 140 by next week or in a couple of weeks. So I'm currently holding 140 calls for January, and my long-term PT by January is around 145. So let's see. I mean, if this breaks out at this 138 level, what we should be able to hit 140 real fast. It's holding this 13 SMA right here. It had a nice bounce from it today. So strong play. If it breaks out this 138.79, it's going to hit 140. So the support level is 133. So it has to hold this, and 145 is my long-term PT.